Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Audible, Tiki Live, Podchaser, Rumble, and more. I am your hashtag positively opinionated host, Dr. Marissa. And today, as you can tell from the beautiful Elan Carter in the studio, it is time for Friday's special series called Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Elan Carter. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so happy that we get to connect once a week at least by face. And it's always delightful to have you in studio with this special series. She is the daughter of Otis Williams, the founder of The Temptations, which is why the series is called Tempting Conversations. And today we're going to be talking about tempting fate. You see the wordplay in there, and I am so delighted you've joined us. I am just before I forget, if you want to get out and walk and do a run and do a 5K run or a family 5K walk on the beach, you'll have to come down to Shoreline Village in Long Beach. I covered a story last year for March for Marrow. And did you know, Elan, that only 30% of families actually do a match with their loved one who has some kind of disease, that blood disease that needs a bone marrow transplant
Or blood transfusion.
Or a blood transfusion. 30%. And that number goes lower in people of families where
Really?
people of color. Yeah. Asian, Black, Hispanic, all of those are even less percentage. And so there's a shortage. So I covered that story, not realizing that it had a personal stint, because my Chinese dad died of lymphoma. And so it wasn't an accident. And I met this beautiful woman who, I'm going to try to pull up the clip. But anyways, I covered the story and they reached out to me and asked me to be a celebrity facility or speaker, MC. And so I get to shoot the starting gun at the race tomorrow morning.
You do? That's so much fun.
And then I get to also give the medals out to the winners. So I'm so honored. And so I want you all to go to marchformarrow.org. Whether you can come or not, please help. It's an amazing, Jessica, my name recall is I'm a little distracted this morning. My beloved bonus dad is undergoing a surgery this morning at 9. So y'all can take a breath with me now and just send out like wisdom and care to the doctors and surgeons as he does this. He's had like several stents put in, so they're a little concerned about his heart. And so it's been an opportunity for faith and hope and best case scenario for me for the last 2 days. So that the surgery happens at 9. So I'm just letting all my peeps know. Thank you. So where was I? Go to marchformarrow.org and donate and sign up to be the match if you want to help. You know, you can donate your marrow or sign up in the registry. which is worldwide, to help. So that's my appeal to you. And I'm grateful. And we're going to segue into our breakfast with Dr. Marissa and Elan Carter gratitude sandwich. I'm grateful that I have this platform to continue to balance out the bad news with good news and solution and people who are doing great things for the planet. And this is no exception. So that's my first gratitude. What are you grateful for, Elan?
I'm grateful that we have the platform to have open discussions on topics that are on people's minds. Some things that it's tempting. Should we talk about? Should we not talk about? But we get the opportunity on Fridays to discuss things that could be a bit teetering. I'm grateful.
Yes, I'm grateful that I can start my morning with fabulous coffee. That first drop, that first gulp is just the sweetest thing. There you go.
Let's have a toast. Let's have a toast because I'm grateful for that. Right? Go in your camera this way.
This way.
This
oh
way.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. I hear it.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
There we go. I'm grateful for our coffee toast because it just makes my taste buds go wow in the morning.
That's a good tradition. That's a good tradition to start. I don't think I've ever tried to do that with anybody. Ready?
This is going to be our yes.
Yeah.
This is going
to
be our.
We'll have to get Polly to find a sound effect that goes ding.
I'm going to get us some tempting cups. So we'll have our tempting conversation cups. How about that?
Love it. That would be a great present. I'm grateful that on Monday it will be my celebration, May 1st, 2012 is when I started this show. So it will be my 11-year anniversary. And Elan and Sam, my co-hosts, and possibly I haven't heard back from Beth, my co-hosts, I've invited to come celebrate with me on Monday morning. So y'all need to come and have some fun with us. I'm so grateful for 11 years.
I am grateful for you and being able to go Monday, and also that you have had this platform for so many years. It's an honor for me to be on the show.
Thank you. And it's lasted longer than my marriage.
Well, sometimes those relationships last way longer than marriage, including your relationship with your animals.
For sure. And now we're going to go to the bottom of the bun, which is appreciation, which I absolutely insist on because I believe my belief system is that self-care, self-love, self-approval is the foundation to a happy life. So I'm training you, weight training on self-love. And thank you for coming in studios. I see the eyeballs rolling in. You are tuned to take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show with my very special Friday series, Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Elan Carter.
You can stream live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and you can always listen to this after. But most importantly, as you're driving in, thanks for making me the #1 8 a.m. talk show in the IE. So I'm on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5. So I appreciate that I have the capacity to remember all those letters and all those numbers for 929 shows. So I appreciate my ability to recall.
Oh, yes, that's a gift because I can't remember what happened 5 minutes ago before I got my coffee. But I appreciate the love and support that I get from family and friends. I have been, having some obstacles, and I've had, a group of people that have been around me, including yourself, that have been supportive. And I appreciate the love that, people give you.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate knowing that I can't live on a desert island alone. I remember when I was young and, I was modeling and thinking I was all hot. And anytime someone pissed me off, I was like, I can live on a desert island on my own. I don't need people. Fork you. If I look like you, I'd be miserable too. And I was just Yeah, a little full of myself. And also, it was to protect the hurt, right? So I appreciate that. I know that I absolutely love my support system, which you're part of. And I love having people that know and love me in spite of myself and give me that unconditional love that maybe I didn't get growing up.
You have self-love because you said you don't need the people. I appreciate that I've learned to mature and leave my ego at the door and my pride, because that blocks a lot of obstacles so you don't have self-love.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've learned that I don't have to always defend myself, that I can't control what people think about me, and I can't control what they shoot at me, and what you think of me is none of my business. So
Exactly.
I appreciate 88% of the time I got that one down.
I appreciate opportunities that I get. That's, especially now, people that come in my life and want to do good. I appreciate every opportunity that is presented to me.
I love the fact that this co-host of mine just, I showed in the promo yesterday her Soul Train piece. And when is that Playboy piece coming out?
Yeah, I'm still in the stand. That was back in the disco days. Oh no. Yeah, I think this dance was in. I don't know any of the dances. My son has this dance now. I'm gonna stand up and show you guys. It's the silliest thing ever. And it's a dance, but I can do it. I can do this dance. Watch this.
Let's see it.
It's just it's just twins.
Is it like the robot? I only saw your
need your hands, and you do your hands like this you're on your hips.
Okay, let's see if I can do
it. Come on.
Okay, get back from the camera because all I see are your boobs right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay.
They're lovely. But so this.
I'm too close to my.
Yeah.
No, on your hips. Put them on your hips.
On your hips.
And shake like this. Yeah, that's what. And there's a song that goes to it. You just do that.
Oh, okay.
We can do that dance.
We'll get Trace to come on and teach.
Because I know you like to dance, so I'll make sure when we'll have Trace on it. You put the camera back and we'll do the shake dance, and he does it really good. He goes.
That's his signature dance, right? When
we can do that dance
for sure.
No, but it's for us.
The Trace move.
The Trace move, because I tell him, I said that's a perfect dance. Is he's so talented, but my child is not the Chris Brown, and Chris Brown got the moves. I don't even know how his body moves like a rubber band because it does. So I said, Trace, that's a perfect dance. Mommy can do it. So now we have Grandma doing it in the car. We were all in the car the other day. And a song comes on that goes with that song. It's like an instrumental. It's not really like a rap song. It's just instrumental. And the kids go crazy. Just twist.
That's so funny. Did he make that dance up?
No. It's a popular dance with the kids. I'm saying it's talking about Soul Train. We had dances and all that. And I can't do that stuff anymore. But this new dance I can do.
Oh, that's funny. And when's the Playboy special coming out?
Probably not until June, July.
Okay. Yeah. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to see. I think that's
on
wonderful.
A&E.
Say that?
It's on
A&E. Oh, okay.
A&E. And it gets pretty deep because I talk about some personal stuff that I've never talked about before. I mean, I'm sure the people that worked for Playboy will be surprised because I've never talked about it. So it probably will show some of my personality. Why I was reserved when I did do Playboy, and why I kind of stayed away from the mansion unless I was working or doing a job.
Yeah. That'll be a really good episode because people need to understand how well we're getting. I don't know how to talk about it without getting into it, but let's just finish off our bottom of the bun. I appreciate that. I have no fear in terms of stepping out and saying things. Sometimes I step in it because it's not always, there's a time and a place for everything, but I appreciate that I have a little bit of wisdom on that. Last.
My last one. I appreciate, and I'm going to add to that I am truthful and I say things in a way to empower and to bring the good out of people, not to be negative. So I hope that sometimes it's not conflicting because some people can take it the wrong way, but it's always in a good light to improve ourselves. Yeah. I am honest though.
Yeah.
I try to be more diplomatic. I appreciate that I try to be more diplomatic now.
From moving from brutally honest to diplomatically honest.
Yes. Yeah. Some people, as a model, you know, people say whatever to us and we're kind of hardened by it. But a lot of people, I realize, take it the wrong way, get their feelings hurt. And I have to step back and go, well, I didn't mean it like that to hurt your feelings. If I'm thinking it, like I tell my kids, somebody else is thinking it. So you need to improve on this.
Yeah. And in the industry that Trace is in, acting as his manager, it is important to know those things, right? Yeah. When I would go into the agency, they would literally grab this and say, lose it.
Really?
Yeah. Talk about, being brutally honest, right?
Oh, they would tell me not to get a tan. Why are you in the sun? You're already dark enough. Like they would say stuff like that. I'm like, well, why shouldn't I not want to get bronzy?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like considered like,
well, that's right there. In the Chinese culture, my mom would say the same thing because the darker you are, the lower class you are.
Right,
and
right. And my mom's really fair. So she's like the sun bunny. Like she, so I didn't grow up with that mentality because my mother loves the sun. I mean, she's much fairer than me. But, it was like, I love the sun because it feels good. Matter of fact, I was with my friend yesterday and she just can't get in the sun. She's very, very fair. And she laughs at me because I just like, okay, you sit in the shade, I'll sit in the sun. And she just can't take it, because she's so pale. We call her Pale Gale. She's
Pale
lovely.
Gale.
Beautiful Pale Gale, though.
That's so funny. So let's see. I just sent something because I want to show this to you. That was what we were talking about before. But before we do that, thank you for joining us for breakfast here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, my special Friday series, Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and co-host
Elan Carter this morning.
And now we are going to go.
I was trying to find the volume, and because you had the commercial up, my big head was right in the back.
That was so funny. That woke me up. I'm so
You're
glad
silly
that
this morning. Fridays are silly.
I am, and I'm consciously being silly. So that I think this is one of my Happy 88 tools is that when there's something that is on your mind, and both of us have like a lot on our mind right now that isn't necessarily happy, then we have a choice in every moment to focus on those things that are making us unhappy, which are real and we can't control them. And it is what it is. And every moment you can either continue to focus on that's bothering you. And then is it going to make you feel better? No, because there's no solution right now for either one of our situations. Or we can distract ourselves with things that feel better. And that's what we're doing this morning is we're goofy because I believe that we're consciously using what we can to not go down the rabbit hole of despair and doom and gloom. And, I'm just going to hold best case scenario for my bonus dad in the surgery, right? I'm going to I remember when my daughter had a really bad accident, rolled her Jeep like 12 times, according to the salvage yard, fractured her neck, fractured her wrist. And when I flew over, I refused to entertain the worst case scenario. I refused to say what the worst case could have been, and
Right.
just focused on, okay, what's the result of the next test? And so that's a discipline. That's not easy to do, but that's what I'm doing this morning. It's like, okay, I know he's having a shower. I know he's getting prepped for surgery, and it's just going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. So everything's going to be okay in the end.
Everything's okay. We have the angels and our spirit guides guiding him,
Exactly.
and the doctors the tools to do the best surgery to save his life, and guide the doctors. Let the higher ups take over their hands.
Yeah, and the doctors, I have to give a great customer service shout out. I have to say, every single time I've gone to Hogue, and my dad's 93, my mom's 90. Did I tell you their anniversary is tomorrow? They're married 73 years.
Wow. Like my mom's age. They're married as old as my mom is.
And they,
I'm not supposed to tell her how old she is.
yeah, I know. I think Lori's going to be pissed at you. We're going to pretend you didn't
She's
say
right
that.
there.
Hi, Mom.
She's not here yet. She's back there somewhere. Maybe I hope she's watching the show.
My family. I call it my
That's
friend's
right.
family. My new term. Yeah. So 93. It's so cute. They do prayers. The last thing, when one's in the hospital, they do it in person, except when one's in the hospital, and they'll do prayers together. And they asked me and my sister Deb to join them last night. It was so cute. So anyways, topic for today is tempting fate. Tempting fate to me is, do we talk about things that might get us into trouble? Do we do things that might get us into trouble? And are there some guidelines on when to hold and when to fold? That was what I was thinking when I said tempting fate, but whatever your take is on that, if you'd like to ask questions or make comments, please do tune in. I'm streaming live on my YouTube channel, which is where all my shows are housed. Yes, I am on iHeart and all those things, but you get to watch because I have cameras in the studio. So please go to YouTube. It's in my bio. You can just click the link. All right. So I'm tempted to talk about what happened on the way home yesterday. And I'm not sure. Well, I am, because I think that this is enough. I'm going to talk about the problem, and I don't know what the solution is. So maybe you can coach me on the solution. So I'm coming home last night. I'm upset, and I'm just trying to get home. I'm in a rental car, a Tesla.
Oh, you still have it?
Goes fast, yes, because the place said that it's not going to be fixed until Cinco de Mayo. So it's an extra week more than their original estimate. So I have a Tesla, which is, I have to say, not a huge fan of the founder because of all the stuff around Twitter, but and I'm not active there anymore because of some of his stances and what he said. But I have to give him credit.
I've gotten off of there because of that.
So, but I have to give him credit. That car goes like a rocket. It's really, and I love
electric cars do. The one, I just got rid of mine, but my electric car, it's actually even faster than that. It's all the electric cars. And what's interesting? I don't mean to cut you off, but people always pull up on the side of these electric cars and think that, oh yeah, I could beat them in a sports car because there's no gears. So we're already out. We're out, gone, like before you even get your car in gear. That's how fast they are. They just take off. It doesn't have to be the turbo. They just are like a lightning bolt.
Yeah. And I love airplanes. People know if they're on my social media, taking off. I have a takeoff
game. It feels like an airplane, doesn't it? When you take off, it goes and you feel like you're literally like a plane. That's what it does feel like. And it sounds like an airplane.
And I love that feeling. That's why I love flying, because I think it's a miracle. Never gets old.
Taking off is my favorite.
Which one?
Going down the runway is my favorite. That's my favorite part of flying.
we got to fly together because I have a takeoff game. Have you ever seen my takeoff game
No,
on
but
my?
we're going to
Okay.
Dubai. Let's go.
So my takeoff game is I'll bet people $1 who are sitting around me to start at 10, and whoever hits the takeoff moment at 0 wins the
Yeah.
dollar. That's
Wow.
my takeoff game.
We could go to Hawaii too. I didn't go this past spring, so I was thinking about maybe going in the summer. So I think maybe we should go.
Okay.
Together.
Sounds good. Sounds
Okay.
good. So I'm coming back from Hoag Hospital last night after, spending a pretty emotional day. And so I'm like completely distracted. And I'm not saying that you should be distracted when you're driving or anything, but this is real life. People are caring for people who are, nobody lives forever. And he's 93, and people are sick. I mean, this is the reality of life. Pain in life is mandatory. Suffering is optional. It's my story. I'm sticking to it. So I have to get home. I'm in a car I'm not familiar with. I'm going over, from Sunset Beach to Seal Beach. There's this bridge, and everyone speeds on that bridge. I don't know anyone that goes the 55. No excuse. I should have, but I'm distracted. I'm in an unfamiliar car. So apparently he clocked me and put his lights on from that point to when I finally registered that there were lights. It was, I don't know, probably a quarter mile or something like that. But when I pulled over immediately, I'm like, oh, crap, right? And I'm like out of my mind. He asked for the paperwork. I'm looking for the Hertz rental, and all of this. And he's like, he's like, do you know how fast you were going? Do you know that? Do you know what the speed's on? And I said, I'm so sorry. I'm super distracted. My dad's in the hospital. He's going to have surgery tomorrow. He's 93, and I've got the visitor Hoag badge right there. And I'm crying. I'm like, I'm tearing up. I'm, and he's just continuing to yell at me. And he, did you know how fast you were going? I said, I don't know. And he looked at me and he says, I don't believe you. Did you see my lights? I swear I didn't see them. I don't believe you. I was like, oh my God, really? And so, and then he went back and wrote up the ticket. And then I just broke down, and he's like, well, if you're, upset, you should wait and pull over and not drive right now. I was like, oh my God, really?
You want to know what I'm going to say about that? Because as and I don't want to make it a race thing, but as an African American person, this is what we deal with on a regular basis for something simple. And it made me think about me on the freeway one day. My contact lens came out, and I was driving my car, and I probably was a little distracted, or I kind of jolted because I was trying to get it, because when your contact comes out, it hurts. And so this cop pulls up on the side of me, and I guess he maybe thought I was drinking. I had like a soda in the car, and I had tissue around it. And he puts his finger, and we're in traffic, so I'm not going fast. He starts screaming at me. And I said, excuse me, I'm having a medical issue. If I needed help, you're obviously not the person to help me, because there's something wrong. And I just might blink my contact. I'm not drunk, He just could have said, hey, you're swerving, are you okay? Or you need to pull over. But he just starts screaming at the top of his lungs. And I looked at him and I said, thank God I'm not having a heart attack, because I don't really care. I'm going to say whatever because I just don't care. I go, thank God that I don't need you as a public server to assist me. But I think that these cops need psychological training before they become officers, because you could come out of high school and be an officer. And my son is a child of being bullied. Thank God he's the person that he is, and a sweet person. But if you have someone who was bullied in school, who was that goofy kid, and all of a sudden you've come into your own and you've come the big man, then how do you not, you feel powerful, right? Say these ethnic people bullied you in school. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to target them and pull them over, especially if you have a nice car. And for me, my son drives a Mercedes. It freaks me out. Like, he's like, I want to go to Chick-fil-A late at night. I'm like, no, like, there's so many cops, because I'm worried about him as a brown boy driving a nice car, because you're going to get harassed. And these cops want to instigate an argument. It's not, and I told him, I said, no matter what they say, don't say nothing, because they want to upset you. I don't understand how the public service, what happened in between public service and I have this power, and I don't care what you're doing. I don't care how upset you are. I'm not even going to treat you like a human, because I can't. Like, it's just, to me, they've become gangs. And I'm not saying all cops are like that.
Right. Let's just balance that out, because I have
all of them
two
are like that.
really good, fabulous friends in the Seal Beach Police Department who, I love, and they, I'm and I didn't use their names. I was so upset that I didn't even think, not that you should use names, but it was just like such a contrast. I'd never seen him before. I moved out of Seal Beach after my kids went to college, but I was so like, I really want to do something. And I thought I want to change protect and serve to serve and protect, because obviously this was a non-serve. It was completely I'm still like unbelievable.
But this is more so than not. I have a friend who's a sergeant, and we had another incident that happened. And he's not in my area anymore. And when I dropped his name, I'm very good friends with his family, his mother and his father. They're much older, but I've known them for a long time. And he told me to use his name. And once I did that, these cops backed off. But it's more so than not. And this man has a law degree. So that's what the difference is. He went to college. He has a law degree. He understands people. He understands the public. My husband was stopped in opposite direction driving down the street, pulled over with the kids in the car and harassed him, and then asked him, he purposely waited until he got in front of the house and purposely was harassing him, like, do you live in the neighborhood? And he's like, my kids were like, he was going the opposite direction. They made a U-turn. So I come out because, I'm blaring, the Black Karen. And I said to the cop, I said, I'm calling my friends, and I said, let my kids out the car, because those are my kids. I want them out the car. And, they looked at me like I was crazy. And, mind you, now these were ethnic cops too. They weren't Black, but they were ethnic. I don't know.
Well, this guy was too.
They were ethnic. And so they just wanted to be more powerful. And so I called my friend and I said, why did you stop my husband? Well, we're stopping people that are Black and nice cars in this area. So I go, who's going to protect my family? Because we have all high-end cars in our driveway. Who's going to protect my family when you just randomly stop us for people that are robbing? So you just, and you're going to keep on, and they're my children. And they were little. The kids were little at the time. Anyway, I called my friend. He told me to tell them, he asked for their names, and they just, oh, okay, you can go. Because it was so, what they were doing was bullshitaki. And they let Keith go. Yeah. But the fact that he had to go through that, but I had to keep him calm, because he's the kind of guy, I went to Yale, he's a little arrogant. So I was like, please don't, because you don't want to upset the children. But we have so many officers, you hear it every day in the news, that are just taking the piss out of everything, and the government's not doing anything. And I know it goes from state to state, right? But it doesn't give you a right to act like that. It just needs to stop. Because what if you're in distress and you can't trust these people to be?
You're supposed to be able to trust. Now. Yeah,
you can't.
You're supposed to be able to.
I hate to say it, I just don't. And I'm if something's happening, I am scared to call them, because they're not going to come rescue me and my house and go, well, the cop was like, well, how long you live here? How do you have this house? I'm like, I'm not even going to entertain that, because honestly, you have some personal. So, but this happens all the time. And this is the conversation people don't want to hear, because they're like, they don't want it. They don't like that fine line, because it doesn't happen. Yeah. And
Yeah.
for the cop
No.
to do that to you and just say, I don't believe you, regardless whether he believes you saw him or not, if you say, I'm upset and you needed to be assisted, that's what he should have done. Let me assist you to make sure you're okay.
It was just one of the worst. And I had something
Did
like
you get
this
his
happen.
name?
Yeah, I'm tempted to say his
Let's talk
name,
about it. What's his name?
his name and his badge number.
What is his name?
I don't know if I wrote.
You don't live in the area where he is, do you?
Well, close by. And I do have two friends in his force. So before I give his name, I want to go and see if I have any recourse.
Okay.
You
do
know,
that.
so that I'm tempted to say his name, but I think that, you know, and maybe that's the happy 88 tool in the topic of tempting fate. When should you tempt fate? I know that I have a pretty good gut that gives me wisdom and direction in inspired action. So just now I thought about saying the name and something saying, no, you know, for now, don't
Because
say the name.
they do stick together, right? They do stick together.
Yeah,
But
well, yeah.
But I
and
think
I
that
just,
maybe telling your friends, because that happened to me with someone years ago. And what I did was my friend was at this station and I told him what happened. And he said to the officer, I know her very well. And that wasn't cool. And the guy apologized. But the fact is, I did say something. I said, you didn't have to act like that. It was, you know. You could have
yeah.
just, whether you're going to give me a ticket or not, just be decent. That's all. Just like, look, I'm going to give you a ticket and let me take my ticket. But you don't need to scare. I feel like now they want to give you the ticket and scare you, intimidate you at the same time.
It was
Like
just,
people have
it was
accidents.
it was so unnecessary, so
Right.
unbelievable. But you know, I have to go back to my discipline. I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. You know, there's something good that's going to come out of it. I have no idea what it is. But before we go on, I did want to just show you this because I really believe in what they're doing, and I want all of you to come and join me on the beach tomorrow. Oh,
There we go.
Dr. Marissa, you know me as the Asian Oprah, reporting live here in Long Beach, Shoreline Village, the champion this year for honoring and this fundraising march. And I have the organizer as well. And your name is?
Stephanie Ham. Well, we lost his son to these diseases. He was diagnosed in 1987. Honoring him and honoring parents who had this look, what is this and how can I help? What can I do?
Thank you so much for
you're
sharing
very
your heart with me. Tears are the disinfectant that keep our hearts soft. And there's another reason why this is special, because I didn't realize my father also passed of lymphoma. And I had no idea that this was part of the story. So it is so like not an accident that I'm here covering this story, because it is important. And I think that it's wonderful that you're taking your time and your energy, especially, you know, what you've been doing as leaving a legacy for your son. So thank you for that. Be the Match is the call to action here. So Saturday, tomorrow, April 29th, the 5K runs at 8 a.m. The family walks at 10. And this year's March for Marrow highlight, she's the champion. She's going to be there. Did you know that Mia Hamm, the soccer or football player, she runs, whenever I run for my brother. So it's a wonderful organization. Stephanie, as you heard, does this every year because to honor the memory of her son who died at age 28, and there was no match. So I really, really want people to go to marchformarrow.org and support this beautiful organization that is definitely a winner of Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award. And that's what I get to do, is balance out all the bad news out there with good news, people, organizations that are doing good and being part of the solution. And I love celebrities like Elan, like all of my guests that come on, who take their limelight and shine it on areas of temporary darkness. So I'm honored to be asked to be the celebrity starter for tomorrow's race. And then come on down to like a quarter mile up. I'm going to be teaching balanced Tai Chi Gong, my moving meditation that promotes inner peace one breath at a time. That's at 10 a.m. And tonight at 7, if you have any questions about how to be happier, about starting a podcast, about writing a best-selling book, then come on my StreamYard link that I'll be posting tonight at 7. I hold a once a month Get Happy Hour where you can ask me anything you want. And yeah, that's tonight, last Friday of the month. There's your commercials. Elan, what are you tempting fate right now on? Or what are some things that we should be talking about more that we aren't talking about?
You know, if you want to talk about this, can we talk about car service people? I told you about the car that I took in the shop, and I didn't bring it up a couple of weeks ago. I want to talk about it.
Okay, let's do it.
Because we talked about the police officer.
Yeah. And let me preface this. I think it's really important not to do like a spiritual bypass. When things are bothering you, there's one group that says, oh, just like don't talk about it at all. For me, I have to get it out. Once I get it out,
I move on.
I can't talk about it again, but it helps to just release that. So okay, go for it.
I'm going to say this because I have had this car for a long time. It's an older model. I have a Maserati, but it's like a 2010, and it sat for a while. So I had to get it fixed. I had to get a new battery and some other stuff because it just really sat. Long story short, I took it to the dealership, cost an exorbitant amount of money because when they sold Maserati to Chrysler. So it's really an American product now. But whenever you buy the parts, say I take my Mercedes and I go to a local shop, just independent, they can put parts on the car really inexpensive, right? Because you go independent. Well, they have it. So you only can get Maserati parts and first market, and only that they're the only ones that will sell the parts. So it's way more than it is to just even the labor cost. So we get it in the shop. It was a lot of money. Pick it up. They took over a month to fix the car. Broke my key. Those keys are really expensive. The automatic keys. Didn't have my the carpets in the car. So it was a couple of things we asked for. Manager would not respond to us. Not only that, when you go into to get your car fixed, they ask you to you have to pay to have it diagnosed. Each item that you think may be wrong, they charge you for. So if there's 4 things wrong with your car that you're not sure, that's why you pay for a diagnosis, right? Usually it's $200, $300 for each diagnose. And even if that's not what's wrong with the car, they don't want to apply it. So I'm going to say, Van Nuys Maserati. I don't care. We called 3 times because, we got that issue because they didn't fix everything. We let it go. They didn't want to fix it. They lost the carpet. We got that back. Now the key, the automatic key, they won't fix it and won't call us back. I don't want to tell you how much it cost us to get the car fixed. I'm sorry. That's my dog confirming that I'm still not happy about it. And so it's been 2.5 months, and I still haven't received a phone call to get my automatic key, which is $150. And I think that's wrong. So circling all this to say, we have no customer service today. I don't understand why there's no customer service at all. And if you're in a position of management, whether you agree or not, you still should at least call your customers back when they spend a lot of money. That's what I'm tempted to talk about today. Not that it's interesting, but it's frustrating.
No, it's good to get it out. And I think that's when I grew up, my mom would complain about everything and embarrass the living bejeebies out of me wherever anytime we went out. And now I do the same thing to my daughters, because when I see something that I don't like, I will say something.
Yeah.
And it is a little embarrassing because it is not the norm to call things out, right? Because there is a generation that, oh, it's okay, it's not that big of a deal, it's not that big of a deal. Like yesterday in the hospital room, it was getting cold, and he's 93 and he had a blanket over him, and I'm like, let me go, find out how to work and it's okay. You don't want to bother people. You don't want to. And that's like, I think it's a cultural thing of a time, right? So where the tempting fate is doing something that is a little bit taboo or a little bit against the norm. So when is that? You don't want to be the squeaky wheel, because people who are always objecting to everything drives me crazy. Like always, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. But on the other hand, if you never say anything, then things that aren't good never get brought out.
Well, I think as American people, we do call people out. We do. Sometimes we do overdo it. Don't get me wrong. We'll shout and whatever. But I think that's part of why when we travel, people get frustrated, because American people will speak out, and this is from living in overseas for 10 years. I lived in London, and they don't do that. And so I remember every time I spoke out, because they're so classist there. And when someone would do something, I would say something and they would respond, oh, typical American, because Americans do say that's not acceptable. I am a customer. I'm paying for this service and this is what I want. So I do think we do tend to call people out. I just think that people have gone overboard lately. Like they just feel the right to just be rude. I don't think you should be rude, but I also think that the people in these positions should respond to you. And I think because so many people are rude, they just feel like, well, I'm just not going to respond at all. They just assume that you're going to scream. I wasn't doing that. I was just trying to get some service. And still, I'm going to complain, because I think after 2 months and I've called 3 or 4 times and they've really gaffled me on what was wrong with the car. And I'm a car person, so I kind of basically usually can tell what's wrong with the car. I do think that we do speak out. American people do. I know you're Canadian, but that's why I want to say that, because we raise hell. We do that.
Yeah.
That's the American way.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to joke that when I traveled through Europe, I lived in Brussels for 2 years, and it was kind of like, it's not nice to say, but anytime I heard a ruckus, I knew when I went to the front desk, it was going to be Americans.
Yes, it is. When I lived in Europe, that's everywhere. Italy, I go, France, they're like, oh, you're American. If we ask for something, or if you go to a restaurant and you say, can you not put onions on it? Can you not put this pepper on it? They would get so upset with me. Oh, American. I was like, I don't like peppers. I'm like, what if I'm allergic to it, right? They don't want to adjust the menu at all. And that's the first thing they say. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't even, yes, I am American. I'm proud of it. And I don't want peppers, darn it. Don't put peppers on my food. I like peppers. I'm just using that one as an excuse.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, if we're to improve in anything, look at the Me Too movement. If someone had not come out and said, this is not okay, right?
Yes.
We'd still be in a place where it was okay for a boss to pat the secretary's butt, right? Literally, if you don't
start saying that,
if you don't say something and begin that movement. But it's really interesting to me, the phenomena that when you do say something like, why is it that more Black male drivers are pulled over than white male drivers? Like, to even say that is already like you're tempting fate. You're tempting, something to blow up, or
people don't want to accept it. They don't want to acknowledge it. I think COVID showed a lot because, and then they try to justify it. It does happen. I mean, as a woman, I get pulled over and I start laughing. I'm like, if I get pulled over and get harassed by the cops with a nasty attitude, and I'm a pretty decent looking person, can you imagine what a male goes through? And especially a dark male. I mean, it happens all the time. And people want to just be dismissive. Oh, you must have done something. No, they just saw that nice car. I was stopped when I was young. I had a nice car when I was young, and they would, more than one time, one followed me home. Well, how can you afford it? That's what we are told. That's what they say to us. It's not about you ran a light or you did something. It's like, well, they must have done something to get this. Honestly.
Yeah.
As an ethnic person, Black people will spend their last dollar to buy a nice car. So 9 times out of 10, it's not stolen. And the cops know that. They'll live in the hood and have a nice car. And I know people won't say it, but I'm going to say it. So,
yeah.
When they do it, they just inquiring. You hear my dog barking. I have to say this because my really good friend just came here. He's a celebrity trainer. He was on the NBC show with me. His name is Andrew. He's a phenomenal professional dancer, and I want him to come say hi. And he's leaving me. He's moving today to Florida. I'm so upset because he left and he came back, and he's only back for a couple months. And he's like, I'm done with LA. He's going back. So come here. I want him to come and say hi. And he's so amazing. And we've been friends for so long. So come here, Andrew. He said,
I found the ranch dressing.
Oh, that's my mom.
This is ranch.
Get in there.
Hi, Andrew.
We're supposed to work out, and I see ranch.
Uh-oh.
That's not mine.
That's what they all say, don't they?
Yeah.
No, that's not mine.
It's Goldie.
He's leaving me.
It's Goldie's. Nice to meet you, Andrew.
Phenomenal trainer. He's 6'5". He's like,
really?
yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Great body. Amazing. When I had London, I got skinny thanks to him, but I haven't, I'm not disciplined like I was when I was young. I'm so naughty. He's like, my mother, when he comes over, she's making bacon, and he goes, Goldie, she's not supposed to eat that. Why you got bacon on the stove?
Yeah, we're almost out of time.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would ask him for tips on, losing.
Oh, he's amazing.
Stuff.
We can have him if we can schedule to put him on the show.
Yeah,
I told him to come
for
on
sure.
because he was on the Home Sweet Home show. They loved him. He was phenomenal on camera, and he can tune in for where he is.
I'd do anything for Elan.
He says he'll do anything for me.
Oh, that's so sweet. I know the feeling. It's time for final word. Thank you for joining us today. We've been talking about tempting conversations and tempting fate, things that we want to say and are not necessarily brave enough to say, but we have to say them. And final word, Elan, before we sign off.
Have an amazing weekend, everyone, and thank you for letting us have. Today was jibber jabber, but it was just stuff that
we had to get out. We had to get out and release so that it's not weighing in on us.
Awakening and the expressing, and just so we can have a great weekend.
Absolutely, because negative energy takes more space than positive energy. So you have to be able to release it so that you can receive and allow yourself to be the naturally high individuals that we all are. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room with my beautiful Inside and Out co-host,
Elan Carter,
on Tempting Conversations. On Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And please do join us on Monday. It is my 11-year anniversary for this show about hope and happiness. So Elan will be coming, Sam will be coming, and we're just going to have some fun celebrating on Monday. And come to the beach tomorrow. It is absolutely marchformarrow.org. Walk, run, and see me shoot the gun or horn or whatever that is to start the race off. Now go and it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Dr. Marissa wishing you the best weekend ever.
Ever.
Bye.